everybody, and welcome back to SnapBacks and BowTies. My name is Michael Fabia, and I am your host today. It is a beautiful Wednesday morning, December 16th, 11 a.m. in sunny South Florida. It's not as chilly as it was last week, so you're not going to see me wearing a hoodie or any type of thing that's covering me right now over this beautiful You're Killing Me Smalls t-shirt that I have and the beautiful Spritz City Bistro snapback. I am excited for today. We have 8 different teams this weekend capable of clinching playoff spots or divisions. This is another star-studded weekend in the NFL. College football kind of meeting them there with the conference championships. We have a bunch of big games this weekend. A lot of teams looking to get those style points and showcase what they're capable of in order to get that push into the college football playoff. I know one team that won't be playing this weekend, and that's Texas A&M. No conference championship for them. They want to keep talking trash, saying that it could beat Ohio State. Well, don't lose. Get to the playoff. A lot to talk about with college football, especially if you did not get a chance, run over to my Facebook page, my YouTube page, or just go, if you don't have the time to watch the video, go to Apple, go to Spotify. If you're listening to that right now, just go to the episode before this and listen to my interview with Luke Wallet. I'm going to tell you right now, that's one of the nicest kids that I think I've ever met. And I can't call him a kid because he's older than me. But the funny part is I go into a little bit on that interview, I used to hate him. But that's just because of my fanhood towards my alma mater in high school. But I used to hate him because of his athletic ability. It's unbelievable. Great kid. Great perspective, played football at Kent State. It was phenomenal. It was easily one of my favorite experiences with interviewing people. I had a great one the week prior with Jared Barger, and I am a Miami Dolphins fan. Sadly, the Dolphins could not pull it out against the Chiefs like we were both hoping, and I was kind of expecting. It was close. But close doesn't matter in this industry. Then on top of it, before that, I had Jeff Snook, great author, had 14 different nonfiction books. 14 different books that he's done over his lifetime. That is unbelievable. And the amount of detail that he's put into each one of his books, I can't even imagine having time to do all of that. So make sure you go check out that one. And then, of course, all of the podcasts, the Fave Fours, everything is all online. You can find it. We are blowing up faster than even I expected. So I'm beyond excited for everything that is coming in the future. Jeez, oh man. And that's all because of you guys. It's through your support, through your word of mouth, and everything that you guys have done over the years for myself. I mean, it's unbelievable. Thank you. And I can't express my gratitude to everybody that listens and follows along and shares and all of that. You're beautiful and awesome people. Awesome. Especially in a day and age when people just want you to fail for no valid reason. So let's get into sports. We could talk about life all day. I'm beyond grateful. I'm happy. I got my Cafe Bustelo coffee over here with some French vanilla mixed with it. I'm happy. I'm good today. I'm good. And you want to know why I'm finally good? Because one of the games of the week last week was the Browns and the Ravens, and it was on Monday night. And the whole football world, actually was 13 point some odd million people tuned into that game. It was the highest rated or highest viewed Browns Monday night football game on ESPN in that short history. Unbelievable. And there's no doubt in my mind that was the game of the year. I mean, that was a 45-42 ending. That's 87 points. Or not, it was 47-42. That's 89 points. Because of the safety at the end. I mean, it had everything, every storyline that you would possibly want. It had lead changes. It had changes in momentum. It had the star quarterback and MVP from last year going out. Baker Mayfield, third-year quarterback, ran 3 substantial drives, led 3 substantial drives in the fourth quarter of the game against a team that has had plenty of success against him. There was a lot of things from that Monday night game that was telling. For one, we know that Lamar can't throw. That's a given. Can he run? Oh my goodness gracious. You could cut the whole field off and he's going to figure out a way to escape. That's just who Lamar is. But the Browns and Joe Woods did an exceptional job of containing Lamar Jackson as much as they possibly could. And it wasn't rather insulting to hear the next day. The next day you have Colin Cowherd, the clickbait master himself, coming out and saying some disparaging remarks about the Browns organization after such a successful night. Now, I don't like moral victories. I hate them. I hate participation trophies. To give you a reference, I slammed my second place trophy in Little League Baseball when I lost in the championship because I don't think that second place even deserves a trophy. But that's just my mentality. Not everybody's built like that. But just to give you my perspective and how I view things, I don't take moral victories. And for once on this Monday night, I was able to take a moral victory. I was able to sit back and say Baker Mayfield is my future quarterback. He's going to get that fifth-year option picked up, and he's going to get a long-term contract with Cleveland because I don't see them just making the playoffs this year. I see them making the playoffs also next year and beyond. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we are personally I think we are watching the Tennessee Titans from 2019. Do I think the Browns are going to have as much success as the Tennessee Titans? No, I do not. I don't know if the Browns could get to the AFC Championship, depending on their seeding though, and depending on who's in that 1 or 2. Like right now, I'm feeling very, very uncomfortable with Kansas City having that number 1 seed because I don't know if the 6th seed is going to be able to upset either Buffalo or Pittsburgh. I don't see that happening. So therefore, the Browns, if they won their playoff game, they would have to play the Kansas City Chiefs because they would be the lowest rated or the lowest rated seed, judging the 3-6 and the 3 wins. I don't like that matchup for Cleveland at all. Kansas City, they are just like a skyscraper above everybody else. They played their worst game. The worst game I think I've ever seen Patrick Mahomes have was in Miami this past weekend. And even then, they won a comfortable game. That was one of his worst games. One of his worst games. Personal worst games. Now, mind you, Kansas City has lost games where Mahomes hasn't been spectacular. But this was his worst. What was it? 2-3 interceptions? 30-yard sack. Shout out to Jerome Baker. Obviously, y'all remember me and him dapping it up. Yup. Midfield, right behind Doug Gottlieb as he's giving a wonderful interview to Brock Osweiler after the Chicago Bears and Miami Dolphins game back in 2018. That was a time, man. Now Jerome Baker's a defensive captain, and I'm recording podcasts in my garage. Life is just beautiful for both of us. So you had the Browns, the Dolphins, those 2 games, they actually did not do any damage to them. Obviously, the Dolphins lost ground because the Colts won, but the Dolphins are still very much alive and I think still going to get into the playoffs. The Browns are still at a 90-something% chance to get into the playoffs. They have the Giants, the Jets, and the Steelers remaining on their schedule. I think they figure out a way they get into the playoffs. They will. So not too much concern from those games as far as playoff picture goes. Now, if Pittsburgh would have beat Buffalo, Pittsburgh would have clinched the division, and I would assume that going into the final week of the season, Pittsburgh would have the opportunity to rest their starters, and the Browns would actually be able to catapult themselves to another win. But that's not the case because Buffalo and Josh Allen dominated. I mean, Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen were on a tear against a defense that is known to get a pass rush against, or a good pass rush, and Minka Fitzpatrick and Joe Hayden. I know Joe Hayden hasn't had many in recent years, but I know he's had a couple this year. Turnovers going on there. They love to take the ball away. That was not happening in Buffalo this past weekend. And then on top of it, with the bad weather that was going on, Pittsburgh was still, once again, not able to generate a run game. Pittsburgh, it's starting to look a little bit nerve-wracking that Pittsburgh is unraveling at the worst time. Worst time. Right now is when you want to trend. Ask Giants fans about that. Go on a 4-game win streak, sneak into the playoffs, and win a Super Bowl. Pittsburgh's trending in the wrong direction. Buffalo, I'll tell you what, they've been doing it the whole year, but even now, the past 2 weeks, looking absolutely phenomenal. They truly look like they might be the only team in the AFC that can take on Kansas City. Josh Allen, not Baker Mayfield, not Sam Darnold, not even Lamar Jackson. Josh Allen. He was the butt of all jokes last year because of some of the plays that he would make. And now we are viewing him as maybe the only person capable of knocking off the defending champions. You can't make this shit up. 2020 is a magical year. These low market teams are making pushes that they've never made before. The Browns, their scheme, their design, their whole culture identity this year is completely changed since Kevin Stefanski has got into that building. Then you look at the success that Sean McDermott has had. And you look at the success that Brian Flores has had. And you look at the success that Mike Vrabel has had. We are watching, and truthfully, it's something that is remarkable. A changing of guards. It's a great time to be alive. Great time. Also, this past weekend, you had it looked like the conversation between Tom Brady and Bruce Arians was scheduled to happen, but then the two legends were informed that they will not be able to play golf due to COVID-19 restrictions and the COVID-19 protocols put in place by the NFL. Also just released last night, the NFL will not be moving towards a bubble. They are going to be staying in intensive COVID-19 protocol, but they are not moving towards a local bubble, and they are not moving towards a playoff bubble. So my hopes of Florida getting the bubble and Fox getting the rights and me living away for 3 months with no kids and just football is completely gone, and nobody's upset. I'm not even upset. It's a good thing that everything is going well, and I'm not mad. I'm not mad. So you had the Buccaneers, Vikings, which go back to that. Dan Bailey out here missing 7 field goals. I thought Cody Parkey was bad. I wanted to choke him. Dan Bailey, 7 field goals? 7? How do you expect to win against anybody, let alone Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, in a 7? That's unbelievable. Dan Bailey, a legend. Not getting the job done. That is not good for the brand. Not good for the brand. The Giants got smoked. Absolutely smoked by the Cardinals in Meadowlands. It wasn't even close. And now, mind you, I'm going over my Fave 4 failures. All right? So that's what's going on right now. The only game I won was the Steelers. But the Giants, they got smoked by the Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals came up from the West Coast up to the snowy, nasty, not even like that yet, but close to it, but it's still New York, so it's still nasty. Meadowlands. And the Giants got their asses whooped. And you know what? That is not good once again for my Cleveland Browns fans, because Vegas always tells me that when a team gets embarrassed the week prior, you always bet the next week on them because they're going to come out and show out. Not good stuff for them. And then let's stay in the NFC East. Obviously, we're not going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. And I got really nothing to say about the Washington football team. But the Eagles, man, have they found their quarterback? Have they found the success? Is Carson Wentz gone? Doug Peterson naming Jalen Hurts once again the starter after he lit up the New Orleans Saints. He looked good. And it's a different atmosphere, different when he's in the game. Different play calling, different scheme. You're able to do more. The league is trending in that direction. The mobile dual threat quarterback is becoming more and more the norm in the NFL. It will take over one day. It will be the dominant soon enough, as it should be, because athleticism should be into the quarterback position. Sitting in the pocket, I mean, the brains of a quarterback is something else. But at the same time, I think that athleticism, it's going to be nice to see these dual threat quarterbacks. We get look at Lamar. That I hate Lamar. I hate's a strong word. I don't like Lamar Jackson's playing style. And yet it's still fun to watch, even if it's against my team, when he's rolling out and all these, these different players are just whiffing. They're not taking right pursuit angles. And he just makes plays happen. I mean, it's fun. It's razzle-dazzle backyard bullshit. I mean, it should take you back to your childhood. For me, that's what it does. It's razzle-dazzle backyard bullshit. Scramble around all of a sudden, loop, boom. Mark Andrews, touchdown, loop, boom. Marquise Brown, touchdown. There's really no skill besides speed, athleticism, and the ability to throw the ball downfield. And to be honest with you, if you remember that Marquise Brown catch to basically seal the game or win the game, or put them in the position to win the game, he underthrew that ball, and it was maybe a 20-yard pass. Can't throw. So in the NFL, a lot of greatness happened this past weekend, and it's set up for, like I was saying earlier, 8 different teams are able to clinch this weekend. Let's see. We're going to look at the scenarios right now. So the Bills are going to be playing at Denver. That's Sunday at 4:30 if anybody wants to watch it. So Buffalo clinches the AFC East division with either a Buffalo win or Miami loss, or Buffalo tie and a Miami tie. That'll give Buffalo the AFC East for the first time since 1995. Buffalo clinches a playoff berth with a Buffalo tie, Baltimore loss or tie, or just Baltimore loses. Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City clinches first round bye with a win and a Pittsburgh loss and a Buffalo loss. I don't see that happening. The Steelers clinch the AFC North Division title with a win, or Cleveland loses, or Pittsburgh ties and Cleveland ties. They play Monday night against the Cincinnati Bengals. We're screwed, Cleveland fans. We're screwed. The Tennessee Titans. They will clinch a playoff berth with a win and a Baltimore loss, or a Tennessee win, a Las Vegas loss or tie, a Miami loss, a Cleveland win or tie. And Tennessee wins. And then another scenario is if Tennessee wins, Las Vegas loss or tie, Miami loss, and Tennessee or Cleveland clinches strength of victory tiebreaker over Miami. In the NFC, you have the Los Angeles Rams. They clinch with a win. The Saints, they clinch the NFC South with a win. The Seahawks, they clinch a playoff berth with a win. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they clinch a playoff berth with a win and a Minnesota-Chicago tie. That's the playoff scenarios for week 15. I personally already have my playoffs already bracketed up. I'm just waiting for them to be placed. I know the playoff teams. I'm kind of hesitant on the last seed in the AFC, but I still think the Dolphins will prevail. The Colts might sneak their way into there. But I do know this. When I look in the mirror every single day nowadays, I look and I see this beard shaping up. And I can't help but notice how good it's looking. It's looking full, nice and full. And I don't understand why. This is 28 years old. This hasn't been happening for most of my life whenever I had facial hair. And I'm smelling great. It looks great. I feel a new sense of confidence. and a new sense of power. And with that, I know that that power is coming from Andrew's Beard Oil Company. That is from his own oil, beard oil. The scents are eucalyptic and rosemary. They have organic products that make the beard oil, and they're all from Stuart, Florida. I reside in Port St. Lucie. Stuart, Florida is literally 15 minutes away. I can go grab a coffee and come back, and the coffee's still warm. So I have full trust in all of the ingredients in the product. And it gives me, like I said, that power. And Andrew Beard Oil Company, they present the Week 15 Power Rankings. This week we have at number 1, obviously we're going to stay with the Kansas City Chiefs. At number 2, we're going to go with the Green Bay Packers. This one might throw people off, but at number 3, I have the Buffalo Bills. Ooh, voice cracked. Must be hitting puberty again. At number 4, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, mind you, there's a lot of people that put them below that. So I keep you guys at number 4. I keep you in my top 5. At number 5, I have the New Orleans Saints. I'm expecting the Saints to jump up as soon as Drew Brees gets back, and they are ready to make that playoff push. Still hearing that Drew Brees might take the field this weekend against the Chiefs. Anxious to see if that takes place. I would love to see that matchup. At number 6, I have the Los Angeles Rams. Their defense is playing incredible. Absolutely incredible. I'm riding with the Rams, and I think they're going to take the NFC West. At number 7, I have the Seattle Seahawks. They're not really there yet. They're not ready to cross into that threshold of being the top team in their own division, so I can't have them, above the Rams. But they're right there with them. We will see them play again. I'm excited for that. We will see them play again in the next coming weeks. And then I have at number 8, the Cleveland Browns. The Browns showed me a lot, and they've lost to the Ravens twice. I'm not sold on the Ravens. I know that sounds insane because it's head-to-head, but what I watched from the Ravens on Monday night, it was concerning. You have a quarterback that is rushing the ball 12 to 13 times a game and throwing it around 11 to 17 times. Come on, man. I mean, he's going to get killed out there. One of these days, there's going to be somebody that hits him, and it's not going to be pretty. So then you have at number 9, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They get on track after beating the Minnesota Vikings and Dan Bailey. And then at number 10, I have the Tennessee Titans because I love the Titans. But 11 and 12, obviously, the Dolphins, the Colts, the Ravens, all sitting right there, ready to pounce into that top 10. They're just waiting. We'll see if they're able to do so this coming week, and if the top 10 is able to remain the same, depending on wins and losses. Crazy stuff going on. We are basically in playoff football right now, playoff football mode. Good stuff. Make sure you head over, check out the College Football Podcast with Luke Wallet. Talk about mental health, too. Oh, my gosh. What a time. What a time. 2 people that used to suffer from depression, anxiety, and substance abuse talking about mental health. Trying to help people. Beautiful stuff. Also, we have championship weekend this weekend. All right, so in the Big Ten, we got Northwestern, Ohio State. Ohio State should handle their own against Northwestern. Michigan canceled their game with Iowa, their consolation game. You have the ACC championship. I believe that kicks off around 4:30. Notre Dame and Clemson. That's going to be a barn burner. Good game. Very good game. The Big Ten's at noon, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Big 12, you have Lincoln Riley versus Matt Campbell and Oklahoma and Iowa State. It's number 10 versus number 6. I don't know. I love Iowa State. I'm a big Matt Campbell fan. I love Matt Campbell. A lot of people are trying to say take Oklahoma. It's a blue blood. You know, I understand why. History tells me take Oklahoma, but I love Matt Campbell and I love what he's done at Iowa State. So another great game. That kicks off at noon. I think that one's on ABC, by the way. Big 10 will be on Fox. ACC will follow the Big 12. SEC, it's a night game. You got Florida, Alabama. 2 juggernauts in the SEC battling it out head-to-head. I don't know what happens if Florida wins. Do they get into the playoff? Do we kick Ohio State out finally? Or do we kick Notre Dame or Clemson out since it's later in the year, neutral site? Who knows? Wackiness. Don't understand why we didn't expand the playoff, but hey, it's for another conversation. And then you have the Pac-12. That's on Friday night. That's going to be the headliner on Friday night. You have USC versus Washington at 8 p.m. Sad to see where the Big 12 is at nowadays. Can't sugarcoat it. Sad to see where they're at. I hope that they can turn it around, but I can't tell you many people that are chomping at the bit to move out west right now and to go to school out west right now. Nope. And then also you had this past weekend, you had Dabo taking a shot at Ohio State, Texas A&M taking a shot at Ohio State, but we'll talk a little bit about Dabo. He's the biggest hypocrite alive, a hell of a coach, great guy, seems well, he has a great religious background, so probably isn't too bad of a human being. From, people that I've heard interact with him, he's not horrible. So, but he takes another jab at Ohio State, and he contradicts everything he said back in September. I mean, back in September, he was sitting there advocating that the Big Ten schools, no matter what they play, because it's a pandemic year and it's an off year and we never know exactly how many games that everyone's going to play. And before the season played out, he was very uncomfortable about whether or not even his school was going to be able to finish out a season. And that's just facts. So he was trying to play PR to make sure that he saved thy own ass if it comes back to bite thy own ass later in the season. Well, it didn't come back to bite Dabo's ass. It came back to bite Ohio State in the ass. So where do we go now? Around 3 months later, you have Dabo Swinney going out and saying that Ohio State essentially does not deserve to get into the playoff. And I can understand where they're coming from. That's a low amount of games. We'll be able to see more against in the Big Ten championship. I think that they'll have no problem with that. And we didn't get to see a lot of Ohio State. So how can we deem that the eye test is credible? I understand where the complaints are coming from, but from what I've seen on the eye test, Ohio State is a top 4 team. The top 4 teams are clear cut. Obviously, Dabo would rather play Coastal Carolina or possibly even Cincinnati, even Texas A&M, Florida. And that says a lot about how he feels about Ohio State and how he feels about the other programs. You will never advocate against someone. If I'm a football coach, and this is just for the sake of competition, once again, which we had a conversation about earlier. For the sake of competition, I want the best of the best. I was actually thoroughly disappointed, and if you check my text, which I'm never going to release those to you, but if you check my text and you look at the text messages from Monday night when Lamar went out, I was actually thoroughly upset about that because I want to beat somebody at their best. So for Dabo to sit there and not want to play a specific team or to say that a specific team doesn't deserve it when clearly 100% of the country disagrees with you, then I question you as a competitor and I question you as a leader. Just something to think about. With that being said, we are going to head out. Obviously, content is flowing in. Make sure that you follow along at SAB Podcast Show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have a YouTube channel where you're going to be able to see all of the podcast videos and interviews and all of my bets. Everything. I am trying to make sure that you have every single opportunity and every outlet accessible to make sure that you are able to follow along on this journey because you are just as much a part of this journey that I'm on as I am. Yeah, I want you guys, I feel like you guys are with me 24/7, honestly, and that I cannot let you guys down. So I appreciate the support and I appreciate the love. Make sure you subscribe on the podcast page itself too, on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Subscribe so that you don't miss anything. You will get an update, simple little update notification right here on your phone. And it will say, hey, guess what? SnapBacks and BowTies came out with SnapBacks and BowTies episode 11. This is what is in the episode. Never miss a beat. I appreciate you all and I love you all. And thank you for all of the continuous support that I've had nonstop. I had to do a project. Just the reason why I'm so grateful and why I'm expressing it so much is I actually had to do a project for school last night where analytics was brought into play. I had to take analytics of my podcast and send it to them. They're beautiful. And thank you. I appreciate you. We're going to try and get some merch. Let's get some stickers out there. Let's get some shirts going. That's coming in the very near future. I wanted to get it ready for Christmas, but I was slacking. A lot of other things take precedent. But I love you guys, and I appreciate each and every single one of you. Stay tuned, follow along, subscribe at SAB Podcast Show. Thanks. God bless. Take care.